Welcome back on to commodities then, and it's only one that has been in focus over the last 24 hours, and that is copper. Manisha is here with the lowdown on all of that. It's all about copper, Manisha.
It is all about copper, and copper is the new gold, the way it seems to be running up. We've seen 10% of gains in the overnight market. And at one point in time, as that cabinet meeting was going on and the US President Trump was talking, we did see copper prices go all the way up by 17% to hit an all-time high at around $5.9 a barrel. Well, the US in the cabinet meeting has proposed 50% tariffs on copper, and that really seems to be taking the prices on the higher side. The move aligns the copper tariffs with existing 50% that you already have in case of aluminum and steel there. Well, the US had launched a probe on this. This was way back in the month of February, and that has been supporting copper prices. A lot of import has been happening into US. Now, the expectation is that the report suggests that the final decision on this probe, perhaps that report could come out in the month of November. But this announcement of a proposal of a 50% of tariff on copper clearly seems to have put the markets in a very big disparity there. Now, remember, US imports nearly 50% of its copper requirements. It comes in from Mexico, it comes in from Canada, and a major part of that comes in from Chile as well. So the markets are looking at conditions in all of these areas too. And then you are looking at higher imports within US, and that has led to a higher premium also building up in case of the US markets there. Remember, US will now start buying copper from everywhere before these tariffs hit. So we've seen US continuing to buy copper, and that has led to US copper at a premium of a record $2,750 a ton. I mean, that's the way the copper prices are moving. If you look at the markets, and the disparity clearly has been there in the first half of this year as well, because when you look at LME copper prices, they gained up by 12% in the first half of this year, while the US copper already was pricing in those tariffs, and we've seen 26% of gains come in there. For the month of July, until now, the LME copper prices are up by 3%, and the US copper is up by nearly 13%. So that's the kind of disparity that we already are working with. Now, there is support to copper coming in any case because of other factors as well. A very bullish Goldman Sachs report says that even with all that is happening, in the year 2025, the copper demand in China will increase by 6%. The other report comes in from PwC, which says that 32% of the global semiconductor production could face issues due to supply disruptions in copper by 2035. In any case, there are roadblocks by informal miners in Peru that has disrupted transportation. It also has to do with disruption at Panama, in Congo. The Chile droughts also have led to mining, and mining of good grade copper continue to see a decline. I also want to put a final number on your screens, and this is about LME copper stocks. If you look at from the month of Feb, we've seen that decline by 64%. While, of course, the US copper inventories are on the higher side, but at this point in time, the best that it puts you through is a very disruptive and arbitrary market.
Okay, all right. No wonder you said copper is the new gold, the kind of disruption we are seeing. You're dressed in gold as well right now. So it makes sense. Thank you so much, Manisha, for making sense of what's happening in the copper market and the reasons why we could see further price hike as well going forward. Well,